Hey Rockstars, Lidshot NAMM 2020. I'm standing here with Julian David. How you doing, Julian?
How's it going, man?
Good to meet you.
Good to see you.
And we're at the Townsend Labs booth. And, oh shoot, now it's been a minute, but we got a request from, who do we get it was from John Keefe. That's right. John, thank you for sending in your message. So John, you asked us to come by Townsend Labs and take a look and see what's new with the modeling mic. So Julian, what do we need to know about, like, who's Townsend Labs and what's the modeling mic all about?
All right, well, so Townsend Labs is a relatively new company, but the people behind it actually have been around the audio block quite a bit. So it was founded by Chris Townsend. He worked at DigiDesign for 13 years and then did the 11-rack guitar amp modeling.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so of course when you do guitar amp modeling, you want to look at the whole chain, right? You want to look at the amplifier, the cab, the microphone in front of it, and then the preamp as well. So that whole process got him thinking about, well, how can I do microphone modeling and make that a separate thing? And so he left DigiDesign at some point and then joined forces with Eric Papp. Some of you guys might know him from Summit Audio. So he used to run Summit Audio. And they joined forces, and we actually started the company with a really successful Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign.
Oh, cool, nice. I always like hearing stories like that.
Yeah, I think it's probably been one of the most successful crowdfunding stories in pro audio. It was really amazing. And that's what we had to launch the L22, which is Townsend Labs' microphone modeling system. So the system.
Let's come on. We'll come in and start taking a look at it up close.
So the system consists of the L22, which is this guy right here. It's a high-precision dual-channel FET condenser mic. Great sounding mic in its own right. It's also got LEDs inside.
We like colored lights.
Yeah. But the key thing here is, we're taking the front and the back of the capsule, and we bring those out individually onto 2 channels into your recording system. So any recording that you're doing with this mic is going to require 2 channels, and that's what gives us access then with the plugin to accurately model and recreate the full 360-degree response of sought-after iconic microphones that we all love and appreciate.
Right, because that makes sense, because a lot of condenser microphones that are using different polar patterns are interacting the 2 capsules in such a way as to create these polar patterns.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I mean, traditionally with a dual diaphragm capsule, you have 2 cardioid pickup patterns, and then you combine them electrically, and you get your Omni and your figure of 8 and all of that. That's been around for 60 plus years. Right. But what's new here is that we bring that out individually, and then we have the plugin that is tailor-made to take that information that was captured in the room to really give you the accurate, response of those sought-after microphones as they pick up, colorations in the room, how they respond when it comes to transit response, harmonics, all of that's being modeled. And the cool thing is that, I have access to this either in real time in the plugin or after the recording is done. So for the first time ever, I can make all of these choices and parameters part of my dynamic mixing process. So, I did an interview with Joe Ciccarelli on the Avid stage, and he calls it a mixing tool, really. The plugin is supported on all native platforms, so we support AAX, AU, and VST, so it runs on any DAW.
Okay, cool.
You don't need any special preamp or interface to make it go. We also.
So wait, this isn't a line level out straight into an interface, is it?
No, you still need 2 channels of preamp.
Okay. All right, take it.
Yeah.
And then it looks like I'm seeing the answer to the question that I was going to ask, which is, can you just create a stereo track and record each? So you have 1 track, but it's a 1 stereo track with both capsules.
Yeah, that's right, and that's actually how we recommend using it. So you create a stereo track. This is what a typical vocal recording looks like, where you have a lot more level on the front channel compared to the back. And as soon as I insert the Sphere plugin, you can actually see that in Pro Tools this behaves as a mono track. So even though it's a stereo file, and this is because Pro Tools supports, right now this is without the plugin, it looks like a regular stereo track. As soon as I insert our plugin, it's a stereo to mono plugin. So boom, now I have a mono panning control, and it's like as if it was a traditional microphone, except that I have access to 30 stunning sounding microphone models that would cost me like $100K if I bought them.
Wow, 30 stunning sounding microphones. Well, shall we flip through and get some of the visuals of what looks so cool with this?
Yeah, totally. So, we got all the classics, the 47s, 49s, 67s. In this case, it's really interesting because in some of these cases we have more than one model of a specific microphone. And the reason, of course, is because as I'm sure you know, there's variations, right? So,
yeah.
If you're looking at microphones that are 60 years old, they all have their unique characteristics, and I'm sure you know this from Blackbird over in Nashville. People will rent specific microphones. They have names for the microphones rather than the serial numbers.
Right.
Because they all sound different, and you can, I don't know what the names are, but you can like rent Tom.
Hopefully there's one named Lidge. I don't know. There should be, right?
It should be.
And Julian.
Should we send them an email and let them know? Give them a call?
Now, so like for example, do you have like the newer 57 and the old, Neodyne 57s and stuff like that?
First of all, I should say that this is always intended to be a growing collection, right? When we launched the microphone, we only had 11 microphone models. Now we had 30 at no additional cost, and we're going to keep adding to this. So, obviously we don't have every microphone in the world, but we have a really nice range. So we have, of course, a 57. We have some classic moving call mics like the 409s. Again, two versions of that. 3 different 421s kind of
I was going to ask about the 421.
Yeah, so these are really cool. They just kept changing over time, and so we're so accurate with the modeling that we give you that full representation of those iconic mics.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Maybe, hopefully not a tough question, but one of the places I would definitely try a 421 is on an electric guitar cabinet that's loud as shit. Even on a kick drum or on toms. Yep. So are we safe to just put this mic right on those drums?
Yeah, totally. And this is one of the key benefits, right? You can use the microphone on sources where you would never dare to use, let's say a 4038 ribbon, right? So the microphone can handle 140 dB SPL. We have a 2-position pad switch on the physical microphone to take care of that. And yeah, we've done all of that and no issue at all. In fact, what I should mention is that the plugin is actually available for free. There's no copy protection. All you need to go is go to our website, townsendlabs.com. You can download the plugin, and you can also download pre-recorded sessions that we've recorded with the microphone.
So you can hear what the examples are. Yeah. Wow, Trip. But of course, if you tried to use this with one of your mics in the studio, it would be like a total mismatch of EQ curves, right? If you don't have the right mic on it.
Yeah, so it's designed as a system. You want to have this microphone to track with it. But like I said, we have pre-recorded tracks, so just to get a sense of what you can do with it, how the different models compare, it's a great starting point.
Yeah. And so then, what is it? Can you bypass the modeling? And what does this mic sound like when you don't have any modeling at all? Is it still a cool thing to use?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you can do it, in the plugin and still get, that mono output, just hitting the power switch. But of course, if you're into doing, straight up analog artist monitoring from a console, all you need to do is just take the front capsule and you have a good sounding cardioid mic. And this was actually one of the, I would say, top requested features from like pro users. They just want a good sounding mic without any of the bells and whistles.
Right.
So
okay, now what about things like latency? Does this create any challenges as far as not having some kind of latency or delay or echo when you're recording with the mic?
Yeah, latency is obviously a big deal. I talked to Joe the other day, and he was like, latency, that's a starting point. That's a must, right? And so it's a really big deal, and the last thing you want is an artist not being able to perform because of latency. So we support all the native plugin platforms, like I mentioned. The plugin itself is really light on CPU, and it only adds 0.5 millisecond of latency.
That's not a whole lot of latency.
It's not a whole lot of latency, but of course, with any native system, you're always dependent on your buffer size, right? So if you're able to run low buffer sizes, you should be perfectly fine. However, we also support 2 DSP-based workflows, and of course, the real benefit of DSP-based workflows is guaranteed low latency performance. So we're the only microphone modeling solution out there that supports the UAD2 platform, so you can run the plugin in real time on an Apollo or Aero interface without any issues. And you can also run it on Pro Tools HDX.
That's good for me.
Yeah, well, there you go, and it's an amazing workflow, right? All you need to do is hit input, and you're good, and you're modeling through these fantastic sounding microphone models, and at the end of the day, you want to hear the result, and you want to make decisions based on that. So it's a seamless workflow, and it sounds amazing.
Okay, so I think I overheard Bobby making a comment that I thought was kind of interesting. He said one of the things that this can do is this can give you a pair of whatever mic you have. So if you already have 4 mics that are all different, you're like, well, I kind of wish I had a pair for this use case for this particular recording. You could use the mic you've got and then just put this up next to it, match it. It wouldn't be a matched pair, but it'd be a pair of similar mics. I don't know. There's not that many times where I need an exact matched pair anyway.
Yeah, and that's one aspect to it, and of course you always have people asking, well, how close is it to the original? And as we've already talked about, the question is, well, what is the original, right?
How close was the original to the original?
Exactly. But we do actually have like null tests on our website where we compare the model to the actual physical microphone that we measured. Anybody can dive into that and geek out about it, but it's totally fine to use it as a stereo pair. Billy Bush actually does that quite a bit. He has an M49. Sometimes he needs a pair, and that's what he uses our mic for. There's a recently released track by Rich the Kid, the rapper, which was recorded mostly on a Sony C800, but then he wanted to replace the verse, and that was recorded with our mic with the 800 model. So
can we see the C800? I love that mic. And what about the C37? Did you guys do that one yet?
So I should turn this on too. So this is the 800 model. We do not have a 37 in our regular collection at the moment. However, we do have two expansion packs that are exclusive to Universal Audio. So they're only available for the UAD2 platform. But those are extremely special mics. So one of the packs is the Oceanway microphone collection that we did in close collaboration with Alan Sides, the mic collector.
Yeah, love that poster.
Yeah. Really unique microphones. He has an 800 Sony 800 prototype because he was involved in the development of that. So we measured his prototype and have that available in the Oceanway collection. I mean, there's no way you can get access to that mic any other way. And then we also did another exclusive with UA, which is the Putnam collection, and that one has a 37 in it as well. So,
cool. Well, I'm glad you guys did that because it usually creeps me out if somebody asks me to measure their prototype. But let the rock stars know what kind of price point do they need to think about, and where should they go check this out?
So we're available worldwide. Great dealers in the U.S. Sweetwater, Vintage King, and Z Sounds. All of those guys are amazing. It's available for $14.99, and that's the entire package. With the microphone, shock mount, as you see it here, and it comes with the plugin. It also includes the UAD2 version of the plugin. And 30 stunning microphones, and we're going to keep adding to this. So, all
right. Well, we're about to get beat out. So, Rockstars, thanks for watching. Julian, thanks for doing this with us, dude.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers.